Hello, everybody. This is Leslie Lane Peabody, and we are about to start Saturday's Sanctuary. Today's event is how to grow your business through blogging. I should have given you the URL link, and that should take you to YouTube. If you refresh your YouTube video, YouTube will then show this Hangout. So I just want to talk a little bit about what happened last week, and this is an important lesson. This is the bonus round that you're getting right here. Last week I had presented that I would have this presentation, how to start your business through blogging. And I use webinars every day in my work life, every single day. And so it's a stress-free event for me. So then when I started the Hangout, and I've done a Hangout a time or two, so when I started the Hangout and I tried to present the slides and progress the slides through, I realized that the slides weren't progressing through as I had hoped. So Hangout does not work like the webinar functions that I've had before. So I spent part of the week trying to solve my problem, trying to figure out how to do Hangouts with the slides progressing, and I did a lot of research on the web. And then on Tuesday night, I watched a Hangout with Chris Record. And for those of you who don't know Chris Record, he is like a guru in the social media area, in the traffic area. He knows how to get tons of people to his sites, things like that. And I watched his Google Hangout, and he progressed the slides just like I'm showing today. So I kind of got over myself. I said, hey, if he can do it and be so successful, that's what I'm going to do as well. So if you don't see the slides in a webinar format, you're going to see the slides in a Google Hangouts type format. It's going to work just as well for you. You're going to get all the information that you need. And I figured if Chris Record can do it that way, I certainly can do it that way as well. So it's about 3 minutes after the hour now, and I'm going to go ahead and start the program. Again, I sent you the link for YouTube, so if you are not seeing the Hangout, please refresh your link. I have my spare computer going on over there, and I can watch this presentation going through. So go ahead and refresh that link, and it will start. Saturday Sanctuary. This is going to be a weekly training event that I'm going to host every Saturday morning from 7 to 8. And every week it's going to be a different area of expertise, a different area of questioning. Sometimes it's going to be on blogging, sometimes it's going to be on finances. It really is going to be a broad overall scope of what it takes to get your business up and running and to grow your business from a more technical perspective. You're going to learn the same things that other business owners are struggling with on a day-to-day basis. And so today is how to grow your business through blogging. One of the most important things that I learned wanting to be a speaker and a coach and an author is that you have to figure out how people get to know you. You have to move outside of your local geographic area. Your local geographic area is fine, but you have a very limited population. So I could do meetups and I could go to meetings and do face-to-face networking, but really if I did that kind of work, I would still have a very limited population. So I started thinking about how was I going to grow my business? How would I grow my business in a non-geographic manner? And I tripped across this thing called blogging. I didn't even know about blogging, really. I know blogging's been around for a while, but I had never really spent any time thinking about it. I'd heard of it, but I didn't see the application. Well, when I started figuring out how to market my book, blogging came to the forefront. I did some research on blogging, and I had a business coach at the time, and he was into this blogging platform, and I really didn't pay much attention. But then when I figured out blogging on my own, I said, hey, can you tell me a little bit about this blogging platform? And I joined the blogging platform. And these are some of the things that caused me to join a blogging platform, to join blogging at all. And so I thought I'd share them with you because you may be in a situation in your business where you want to grow outside of a geographic area or even within a geographic area, but definitely outside of a geographic area and get people to know who you are and what you can offer. So that's what caused this presentation, How to Grow Your Business Through Blogging. It's my personal journey on how to sell my book. So why would you blog? Let's talk a little bit about what a static web page is first. A static web page is what we normally see. You know, if you go to my webpage, leslieLanePeabody.com, you're going to see my static web page, and it changes a little bit. It changes sometimes, but it doesn't always change, right? It kind of sits there until we're ready to move it forward. My slide is not moving forward, and it was a minute ago. So if you're talking about a static web page, you're kind of wondering, why should you have a blog? People know where to find you, they see your information, that kind of thing. One of the trainers in Empower Network, and let me tell you, they have some fabulous trainers, so I'm learning a lot from the training that they provide. One of the trainers, Lawrence Tam, he told a story the other day about a dog and a bone, and how if you wanted to have, let's say there's these couple dogs outside in the neighborhood, and you want to bring them into your home because they're feral dogs. They're really nice, but they don't have a home. And my neighbor, she put out a dog bone, and the dogs came to her house, and she tried to grab the dogs, but they ran away. Well, she left the dog bone right outside her door. And the next day the dogs came back for a second, but they ran away because it was the same old dog bone, right? It hadn't been updated. I got the idea from her to put the dog bone out. So on day one, I put a dog bone out, and the dogs came, but I didn't approach them. And they ate the bone, and they went away. Then on day two, unlike her, she left the same old dirty bone out there. I put a brand new dog bone out there. And the dogs came back again to see what bone two had. Remember, they went back to her place, but she didn't have a new bone? I put out a new bone, so they came back to my home again. On day three, another brand new bone. And on day four, another brand new bone. Day five, another brand new bone. So the real point is, if you continue to give those dogs bones, then if you start opening the door to your home, pretty soon they're going to have built up a trust in you, and they're going to start coming into your home, right? You're going to be able to incorporate those dogs, those feral dogs, those dogs that don't really want anything to do with you. They're going to start coming to your home, and they're going to think of this place as a zone of safety, a zone where they get what they need every day. Regularly, they're going to know to come to you for whatever their needs are. You're going to have met their needs. You have food and water on the porch every single day. It's clean, it's fresh, it's new. Blogging is kind of like that. Blogging is giving that feral dog something brand new every day. Something brand new, and it's building a relationship through that daily or regular interaction. It doesn't necessarily have to be daily, but it has to be regular. Through that regular interaction, you're going to get to know people halfway across the world. You're going to get to know people that you're not going to be able to see here. In my coaching business the other day, I was at a meeting, and I had so many people tell me that they don't like to coach online, they don't like to do this online, they don't like to do that online because they need that relationship. That is what blogging does for you. It allows you to establish that face-to-face contact, that face-to-face type contact at least, with people that you can't necessarily be face-to-face with. And if you establish video blogging, that just increases and enhances that relationship building that you're doing through blogging. So that's kind of what we're talking about when I say, why should you blog, and what is a blog? What's the difference between a blog and a static web page? And why should you blog? You're establishing that relationship. That feral dog is going to trust you. So whenever you think of blogging, think of it like you think of this dog and the bone that you see there. A dog will always come back for a brand new bone. And your potential customers, they're like feral dogs. They don't trust you. They don't know you, so of course they don't trust you. Well, that's the same thing that's going to happen. As soon as you start establishing your credibility, every day you put clean water and a bone out there. Every day you give them something that they need and that they want. They're going to start coming back every day. They're going to start trusting you. You're going to start building that relationship with people that you may never see face to face. So let's talk about, why does your business need a blog? Okay, so businesses need blogs for a variety of reasons. We talked about building the trust a few minutes ago, but what is really most important, you need to have these things in your head. You don't have to know the exact numbers, but you need to have these in your head. Your business needs a blog because companies that blog generate 88% more leads. 88% more leads. Leads are huge. If you can generate 88% more leads, that's huge. That's amazing. And here's the other thing. Companies that blog generate 55% more website traffic. We all know that everything is built off of traffic. If people can't find you, if people don't look for you, if people don't get to you, you have no products, you have no business to sell them because they're not finding you. So how are you going to get to your customers? How are you going to get that traffic to your website, static or blog? You need to blog because you will get 55% more website traffic, and that leads to 88% more leads. That is significant, my friends. Very significant. So you blog to generate more traffic, and you blog to generate more leads. So let's talk a little bit about social media. And I'm not going to talk a lot about social media. This is not a social media presentation, but we're going to touch on the fringes of social media because a blog is social media. But here's kind of the most important thing you need to know, is that a blog is the most important social media tool you have. It is the cornerstone of your products or your business. Every social media activity that you have should use your blog. It should be linked back to your blog. So if you post on Facebook, link back to your blog. If you post on Twitter, link back to your blog. Everything you post to Pinterest, link back to your blog. Link everything back to your blog. You'll see that I have linked back to your blog in red. I'm not kind of a red person in the Saturday Sanctuary, but this is so important. I highlighted this in red for you. Link everything back to your blog. Why? Because think about this. When you join Facebook, you have to join. When you join Pinterest, you have to join. When you join Twitter, you have to join. Everything you have to join. A blog, there's no joining requirement. You have just expanded your universe to people who don't like to join, who don't want their information out there in some database. There is no joining requirement. Bing! So if you guys have ever seen Groundhog Day, I love the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And there's this insurance salesman that he used to know in high school. And Bill Murray, of course, he's this nasty weatherman who thinks he's all that, right? And the life insurance guy, he wasn't all that in high school, right? So he comes over and he has this little chat with Bill Murray's character. And whenever I ask Bill Murray a question and he thinks he finally has it, he goes, bing! It's hysterical. Watch Groundhog Day if you haven't seen it before. Bing! So when I read this piece, this nugget of gold information, no joining requirement, that little bing went off in my head. I'm like, bing! No joining requirement. So that's why I have the picture of the bell right next to it, because bing! No joining requirement. Huge! Huge difference. Huge difference. So let's talk about, we talked about blogging. Hopefully I've convinced you to at least think about or try blogging at this point in time. And this is certainly why I decided to do the blogging. So when you're blogging, what do you blog about? What should be out there? Well, you're going to hear people if you're in the business world, and if you're just starting the business world, you haven't heard this term very much, but once you get there, you are going to know this. Content. Everybody talks about content, content, content. Well, content is king. It's the credibility that you get. You have to have credible content. You have to have content to become credible. So content is king. It is your credibility. It is your social media credibility. It's all tied to your content. You need to create a smorgasbord of relevant, and that's the key, relevant content that a search engine will love. So when I talked to you about on the last slide about a blog will get you more traffic and that people don't have to join from a blog because of blogs out there on the internet. Google loves blogs, right? But they love blogs because they like relevant information and then it highlights things. So content is king because when you put out a whole ton of information, if you put out a whole ton of information on a single subject, the relevant subject, then you're going to get higher ranking. And when you search, think about how you use Google or any search engine, frankly. Okay, so you might use it to, like lately, let's talk about this, how to host a Google Hangouts webinar. That's what I've been doing this week, right? So how to host a Google Hangouts webinar. So I searched that, and then I got all these YouTube videos, or I got these trainings, or that kind of thing. So what do you search for every day? How to overcome your fear. How to, I can't even think of something else right now. Overcome your fear and Google Hangouts are the two things that I used this week. So content is really the king, and you don't have to be ranked #1 with your content. One of my friends in Empower Network, she is on the first page when you Google her content area, her area of expertise. I think she's been blogging for 9 months, and she's up on the #1 page, right? Not #1, but on the #1 page. Content is king, and it's very important to blog with a theme and a purpose, and your content is going to be your king. So let's think about that for a minute. And let's say you've decided to blog, and okay, you get content, but people don't really like content. You know, if you think about what you post on Facebook, if you're an active Facebook poster, right? So I can post on Facebook. In this last week, I've posted on Facebook how to overcome your fears. I've posted a naked video where I'm in the bathtub, and I got some hits on that kind of thing. And then I posted my business, my coaching business is called Ninjas in High Heels. So on Ninjas in High Heels, I posted a picture, and I should have brought it up, but I didn't bring it up because it happened after the slideshow began. But I posted a picture of a pair of shoes with chain links, and I'll probably add this later because I think it's really cool. I posted a picture of a pair of high heels where the heel is in chain links, okay? The heel, and they're big chain links. They're like, you know, they could hold up a swing, a person on a swing or whatever. They're big chain links. They're huge chain links. I got an astronomical number of people interacting with me on this picture of these stupid high heels that have chain links in them. And my naked video that talked about fear and my other videos that talked about fear, I got some interaction, you know, but it was kind of normal. These pictures of these high heels, they got phenomenal interaction from men and women. Even men are like commenting on the old ball and chain, and there were jokes and back and forth, and it was hysterical. I even discovered that one man considered himself a fashionista, and he talked about Jimmy Choos, and then he figured out they were Jimmy Choos. I mean, there was a huge interaction about this. If you're looking at this slide right now, What do you talk about when you're blogging? Well, you need a mix. You need to talk about broccoli. So if you can see the plate and you see the green broccoli, that's what you want to talk about. You want to talk about your content. So you want to talk about, like I said this week, my content this week is about fear and overcoming fear. But people want to read about the cheese. So you have that little dabbling of cheese. And people come back to my site because I talk about these stupid shoes, right? So the people came back and they talk about the shoes, but because they're looking for the shoes, I have a weird shoe at least once a week. But every day, or almost every day, I post real content. So I post broccoli and I post cheese. So broccoli daily, cheese once a week, or broccoli multiple times a day with a little bit of cheese pushed in. So make sure that you have your broccoli. Make sure that most of the content you post is going to be your broccoli, because the broccoli is what you're going to be ranked on. The broccoli is what they're looking for when you're in the SEO engines and things like that. They're looking for the broccoli. They're not looking for the cheese. They're not going to probably rank me on high heels with chains in them, right? I'm hoping that I get ranked on the fear, not on the high heels with chains as heels, right? So that should make some sense. So let's talk about the broccoli. Let's talk about the content. What can content be? You're thinking, oh, Leslie, I don't have any ideas what to do with content. I have no idea about what to talk about. Well, you do. You have an idea about what to talk about, right? Because you know why you're in business. You know what people want to hear about, what people need to hear about. Maybe you don't think you have a whole lot to offer there because you're not a great writer. That's okay. Here's the key to content. It doesn't have to be yours or even unique. Content just has to be what they need at the time they need it. So they need to be able to find it. And it doesn't have to be yours. You only have to help them find it. How many times do your children or your coworkers or someone in your life come to you for answers, and you're not an expert in that area, you don't know all the answers, but you help them find the answers they want. They keep coming back, right? So, for example, my children know that I am not a car mechanic. I am no good in that area. I do not excel at being a car mechanic. So, a couple months back, and my kids, you have to understand that my kids are teenagers, 17 years old, my oldest child, and he and his friends are in AP Physics. So in high school, that's like mechanical geniuses, right? So these kids are mechanical geniuses, or think they are anyway. So they had a flat tire one day on a Volvo. And I don't know what you guys know about a Volvo, but a Volvo has a very strange lug wrench. So I go and I bring my American car lug wrench down to the kids, and of course it doesn't fit to fix the tire, right? So I'm digging around in this child's trunk, and I find this little leather pouch, right, that's about 2 foot long, and I pull out this, what looks like a lug nut thing. You know, the lug nuts are the things that hold your wheel in if you're even worse on cars than I am. A lug nut is what holds your wheel to the car. And so a lug wrench is kind of a octagon or a hexagon kind of looking wrench thing. So it's got a big kind of circle, hexagon circle inside. And then it's like, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches long, right? And this thing, this hollow tube that's 3 or 4 inches long, and then it had a hole all the way through it on one side. And then there was this other bar that was about 3 foot long that looked skinny enough to go through that hole in the hexagon tube. So, me being the physics AP person I am, right? I said, well, what if you put these two things together? So I threw them together and I pushed the little rod through the hole in the lug wrench. Ta-da! We created our own lug wrench. That's how they designed it. They designed in two pieces this lug wrench that worked on the car and that would take the wheel off the car, take the lug nuts off the car. I am not an expert. My kids know that they're smarter in this area than I am. But you know what? They keep coming to me and they come back to me to help them out because sometimes I get answers that they would have never gotten to on their own. Sometimes I look at things just a little bit differently than they do. And so when they're in trouble, when they don't know the answer, they come to me. Even though I'm not the expert, they come to me anyway because I help them find the answers. So when I say it doesn't have to be you, think about changing the tire on the car. I do not have the strength of my boys. I do not have the physics mind, the scientific mind that my boys have. But you know what? They come back to me because I can think outside the box and I help them find the answers they need. And the answers are seldom mine. I just help hook them up with the right answers or help them get to the right answer on their own. So the content doesn't have to be yours. The content, however, should be timely. So if my boys were changing the tire on the car and 3 weeks later I came up with that answer, that wouldn't have helped them. They needed the answer right then. They needed the answer today. So your content should be timely depending on what's going on in the world. So a couple months ago, we had these huge floods in Colorado. I don't know if you remember hearing about them, but huge floods in the state of Colorado. Well, a lot of people, especially in the state of Colorado, they started blogging about the floods and the impacts of the floods on the local community and linking that into their current business model. It really depended on what their business model was, how they linked the flood in. A lot of them said, hey, here's how you can help. Hey, here's what's really going on from a local perspective, that kind of thing. So please don't think that I'm saying capitalize on the injuries of others. That's not really what it was. A lot of people were blogging about here's how to help. Here's what they need. Hey, let's all go down there and do this. So you can capitalize on the community involvement and how to be a leader in creating assistance. But blogs should be timely. You don't want to talk today about the space shuttle that landed 12 years ago, right? You want to talk today about things that people care about today. You want to talk about things that matter today. So nothing is as frustrating for me as when I go and I Google how to make a Google Hangout work, and it's from 3 years ago when Google Hangouts was a different beast. We've had 3 upgrades since then. Or the other day I was at the Apple store. This is a great story because I cannot make my Facebook contents merge with my Apple contents on my MacBook Air. So I went back to the Apple store and I was asking them to help. Well, the articles that we were getting were things that happened before the iOS 7 upgrade. So none of them were applicable to my current situation. So if you're looking for content, if something has changed recently, do something on that content. So when I figure that out, let me tell you, even though I'm not an Apple geek, even though I'm not a great content person, I'm going to start blogging about how to get your contents to sync right. And then it's going to be up there in the SEO, and people are going to know what they need when they need it. It's going to be timely information. It's not going to be from 5 years ago or 3 years ago. It's going to work in the current situation. So timely. Here's the best one, and people do not think about this. Content should be easy for you. Easy peasy. Write about what you know. Share what you read. You don't have to research everything. Okay, I researched this information that I'm sharing with you today because I needed to research it for me. I did this for me and how to grow my business. Well, then it was very easy to create this slideshow. This slideshow I created in less than an hour to create this slideshow. I'm talking off the cuff because all of this information I researched for me. And I thought, well, if I needed this, you might need this also. So content should be easy. Content should be the things that you already know or that you're researching for yourself or that you're reading for yourself. Don't create this huge plan about, oh, I've got to learn this so that I can put content out there. That might be your ultimate plan, but if you're starting today, write about what you know or what you need to know, or video what you know or what you need to know, or video what you're doing. So, for instance, the other day, last Thursday, I went to a meeting, and during this meeting, I heard a speaker. Well, let me tell you that today, when I'm done with this particular presentation, I'm going to video my learnings from that presentation last Thursday, and I'm going to post it out there on my blog. It's going to be easy because I took notes. I want to remember what he said. He was awesome, so look for it here. But content doesn't have to take you time to figure out. Content should be there on the tip of your mind. It's easy for you. And here's what content should be. It should be the answers. So what questions have you had recently? We just talked about this in umpteenth detail. You should be answering questions that people have. So the question I had before when I was creating this presentation is, how do I grow my business? How do I sell my book to people that don't know who I am? The answer is through blogging. And I found that answer, so that's what I was answering here. Why should I blog? Well, because people want to know the answers. They want to know, why should they blog? How to grow their business. They are me. All I have to do is answer for other people the same questions that I have. Okay, so I think we've kind of gotten to that point. Now let's talk about what content should be. What is going to bring interest to people? What is going to bring people back, make them want to look at what you have, make them want to read what you say, that kind of thing. And I understand that when I'm talking, my slides are lagging a little bit. I apologize for that, but we'll still keep going. I have two computers up. I have the computer I'm using, and then I have a computer where I'm watching what you guys can see. So I can tell that I'm lagging a little bit. That's okay. I'll keep talking, and you'll figure out. The slides only help you understand what's going on. If you listen to my voice, you'll understand the content that I'm trying to share. So the slide has progressed now. Content. People are visual creatures. 80% of your content should be visual. If you think about, most of us have experience in Facebook, right? So most of us see those Facebook feeds, and you see a lot of text, a lot of statuses, a lot of tweets, that are just text. And then you see the pictures. And the pictures, sometimes they're videos. And I get excited when I see those things because I like visual interest. I don't like to read a term paper. I don't even, frankly, like to read bullet points. I like visual. So when I talked about the dog, showing a picture of the dog makes you remember it as well. And it was fun to look at a picture of the dog. I'm hoping it was fun because it was fun finding a picture of a dog with a bone, right? So it needs to be visual. A lot of what you do needs to be visual, 80%. And so almost always you're going to hear me talk about the 80-20 rule because everybody remembers the 80-20 rule. I'm just making that up, right? But it cements in your mind. 80% should be broccoli. 80% should be visual, right? So just remember the 80% rule on almost everything we talk about. 80% should be visual. Here's the kicker. Visual should probably be informal. When you're just getting started, just take a picture with your stupid iPhone or Android or whatever. Just take a picture. It's not going to be perfect, and guess what? We don't expect it to be. Your customers don't need you to be perfect. They want you. They want to know who you are. So do I have a professional video coming out? Yeah, I do. But it's not what's out there already. I put stuff out there that are unprofessional, that I just took off of my iPhone. I put stuff out there and people like it. Some of our leaders in the Empower Network, I can't remember who this was, but one of the leaders told this story about the very first video he ever did, and it was on his iPhone or whatever, and it was awful. It was all he could do. He threw it out there. And then 3 years later now, he's going back and looking at it, and he was going to take it down. But then he looked at the statistics related to who was looking at things. People were looking at that informal, that throw it up there, it's my very first effort, that awful video, the video that he thought was awful. People were looking at that, and it was speaking to them. Because you're not Tony Robbins on some big stage and have everything perfect. People want to be like Tony Robbins, of course we all do. But people get it when we're not. And they relate to us more when we show our flaws and we show our vulnerability. We show who we really are. Yeah, someday get to those polished pieces. Someday we're going to be Tony Robbins. Today, be who you are today and share who you are today, and don't fret or stress over it's not going to be perfect. Content, especially when it's written, but even, I'm going to tell you, even when it's visual, even when it's a video, not really so much with pictures, because a picture you either have it or you don't, it should be short and it should be easy to skim. So when I set up this webinar, I said you're going to have an hour, and we'll be done probably in less than an hour. You know that when you come to this training, you're going to be spending an hour or less. When I post videos online, they're pretty much 5 minutes or less because people don't want to spend a ton of time, right? They want the information in an easy to digest manner, so it should be short. If you're writing a blog, if it's a written blog, it should be short. It should have bullets, it should have highlights, it should have bold, it should have italics. It shouldn't have a lot of black, a lot of ink together. It should have a lot of white spaces. And I'm going to say the same thing for videos. They should be short. The other night, God love them, I was on a training program, and it was 9:30 in Denver. So it was like 11:30 on the East Coast, right? It was a live training program, and it started at like 9:30 in Denver or something like that. I fell asleep watching that program. It was so long. It was like 3 hours long. And they didn't tell me before they started that it was going to be 3 hours, so I'm thinking an hour, right? Because they'd just gone through and told me how they had chunked it down into bite-sized pieces. Even the people that I love to watch and to learn from, even those experts, that is the advice I would give to them. Chunk data down into bite-sized pieces. I would not put more than an hour in a video at a time. If you need more time than that, chunk it down. The best training videos I use are 45 minutes or less because I can spend 45 minutes on the treadmill in the morning and I watch those videos. I hate videos that are 3 hours long. So really think in terms of what you as a consumer like, what you as a consumer read. Do that, because those are the people you want to work with anyway, right? The people who are like you. So think about what you like. For me, it's short. It's easy to skim. So that's what I'm going to be doing. You're not going to have a training class from me that's longer than an hour. And if it's longer than an hour, we'll do a couple modules, because some things will take longer, of course, but we'll chunk it down into bite-sized modules. Think about what works for you, because short really works for me. Easy to skim. Tie whatever you're doing to a product or a program of yours. So even if you're talking about high heels, let's say we're talking about those chain link high heels, and I didn't do this, but I need to. We could talk about the high heels, and then I could have linked it in to how you can feel tied down to your business if you don't have a business that works on its own, right? So I didn't do that, but I should. So everything you do, even the cheese, definitely the broccoli, but even the cheese, figure out how to tie it to your product or your program. Because if you're getting that much interaction, if I'm getting tons of hits, tons of interaction on those high heels, I am missing a huge opportunity if I didn't link it, and I didn't. But if I don't link it in the future to my programs or my products. And always, 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 and I should have put this in red, always, always, always give a call to action. Always give a call to action. A call to action can be as simple as, if you enjoyed this, please like my page so that you get future information. If you liked this and you'd like more, please join my mailing list. If this spoke to your heart and you'd like to incorporate this into your own business, join me in my training program. Never end without a call to action. That is the whole point, that you're doing anything. Always end with a heartfelt call to action. How would you like someone to ask you to join them? People don't know what to do. They don't know what the next step is. They've been listening to you, so hopefully their brain has been on hold. Their brain has been engaged in listening and not thinking strategically. So now is the time for you to tell them what to do next. What is the next step? Because they're still in the thinking mode. They're not in the strategic mode. You have to give them the next strategic step. Always give them a call to action. So if that spoke to you, then maybe you're ready to start blogging. And I'm here to tell you that there are so many different ways to blog, I can't even tell you about all of them. WordPress has a free blog, there's Blogger, there's Tumblr, there's Empower Network, I don't even think I could name it on 3 pages. There are so many blogging resources out there. There's no excuse for not blogging. Many of them are free, some of them are paid. Free doesn't always mean free. Paid doesn't mean expensive. You have to pick the one that's right for you. And I can tell you, I did my research and I decided I didn't have the time to learn how to blog in WordPress or Blogger or Tumblr or some of those other things. Now, I have friends who do, and that's okay. You have to decide what's right for you. Research, spend the time, or use the research and the time that other people have done and figure out what works for you. I'm going to share with you my journey, right? Because that's where I've been, that's who I am. I can share with you my journey, and I can tell you why I chose Empower, and then you can make your choice too. And you can either choose to do another research and do your research on your own, or you can choose to join me because I've done the research and you know what I've done to get where I am. And that I don't throw away my money willy-nilly. I need significant value to do something, to join something, to put money where I could do something for free. I decided to join the Empower Network when I started blogging because I could understand the additional time that it would take for me to figure out how to make those other blogs work. I didn't have that time to put into my business. I wanted my business to hit the ground running. I wanted it to move forward quickly. So at the time I joined, oh my goodness, Empower Network was doing this huge blitz. They were doing the blog beast, that kind of thing. So the questions that came to mind was just what the heck is this Empower Network thing anyway, right? Well, Empower Network blogging has it all. It has the video blogging, it has the audio blogging, it has the text blogging. It had everything I needed in one small packet. It also is easy. Dave Wood, one of the founders, they have this great video. And they have a copy of a pancake being made and you setting up a Facebook account and you blogging and something else there are 4 in this thing. And you can go to that video if you want. I'll send you the link to it. But they talk about, grandma making pancakes and how making pancakes takes longer than setting up your Empower Network blog. That, my friends, is so true. I am not a techno geek. I know some, okay? So I'm better than some people, but not as good as most. I am not technically savvy. When when I take videos and sometimes I have a problem, I have to give it to my 17-year-old son and say, "Hey, make this work for me." So I'm not technically savvy. I'm savvy enough. I know how to turn on a computer and things like that. So I'm not stupid, but I'm not the best of the best. So it was very important to me that I could find a tool where I could hit the ground running. I needed to hit the ground running. So when you think about it, think of pancakes and how easy it is to make a pancake and how fast it is to make a pancake. That's how fast your blog can be. I finished a blog one day 2 weeks ago. I finished the blog, and it's out on my blog site, in less than 15 minutes from the time I started hitting the record. I conceived the idea, hit the record button, uploaded the video onto my Empower Network site, added the text with it, and then posted it to Facebook. That entire process took less than 18 minutes. I think 18 or 15, somewhere in there. Okay, so you can do a daily blog in less than 18 minutes. Everything. And you can set up your Empower Network site in less time than it takes to make a pancake. That was very important to me. I needed to hit the ground running. Here's another key item for me, is your business name will be used. And you can have more than one business. So, when you blog on some of these, let's say Blogspot or whatever, when you blog on Blogspot, you get your name.blogspot.com. Now, Empower Network, it just has my name. It has my business name on there. It doesn't have anybody else's name. So people who come to see me, I get more credibility on my blog because it's got my business name. And it doesn't say Empower Network. It says, well, mine is Ninja Mobile Money. Okay, so it says Ninja Mobile Money when I blog. It doesn't say Empower Network. So I get credibility because I look like a more credible business. I look like somebody who's willing to pay something. I look like somebody who knows what the heck to do in my business. I don't have how to overcome your fear.blogspot.Leslie Lane Peabody. I get Ninja Mobile Money, which is my business name, how to overcome your fear. That is primo, you guys. You really need to have a blogging platform where it links back to your business. And here's the cool thing. You can have, I don't know if it's totally unlimited, but you can have unlimited, more than one business names. So part of my business model is going to be blogging for some other people. Blogging for people is a strong term. Blogging for people that I agree in, entities that I agree with. So one of the programs that I really support is Joseph's Journey, and what they do is they bring people into children, terminally ill children, and they give them outdoor activities, hunting, fishing. Maybe some people don't agree with that, and I don't care whether you agree with it or not. The concept is what you have to do. If you have a cause that you love, on this same platform where you blog for your business, you can blog for others on your own same platform for no additional fees for the exact same cost. You can blog for others and you can give back to your community, back to your causes, with using their business names on your blog. It's excellent. You get to do whatever you want to do. You get to increase your causes. You get to give your time and your knowledge back to others for no additional cost. Think about that when you're building your business. How much would it help you to feel like you're giving back? So you can do it for more than one business, and you can do it for your causes, or you can do it for your sister, or you could do it for whatever. You can have multiple businesses. You could create a business where you blog for other businesses on your blog. Just think of the potential. They also, I swear to goodness, Empower Network, I do a lot of training. I'm a training geek, right? I love training. These guys have some of the best training I've ever seen out there. They hit your mindset and then they hit your technical side, right? They do it all. They pull it all together for you. Because you can hit the technical side all day long, but if you haven't turned your mind around in what you need to do from your mind, you're not going to grow your business. You're not going to be where you need to be. These guys pull it all together in one swell package for you. Excellent on-demand training videos. It is the best training, honestly, hands down, the best training I've ever had. It's also, and this was the kicker to me, because I am a training guru and a training geek, and I like to do a lot of different things until I find the one that fits me. You know how much it costs you to start a business by blogging? $25 a month to market your business. $25, that's it. Now, let's say you don't have a business and you want to sell the Empower Network as part of your business. That's part of your business model, which you can see it's part of my business model here too. I'm a coach, and what I do as a coach is I help you dream massively and live passively. Dream massively and live passionately. I said passively, but passionately. Passively is true too, because part of my business, part of my coaching business, is teaching you how to incorporate passive income streams into your business, whatever it is, into your business. And one of the methods that I'm going to do that is through blogging, teaching people how to blog. Well, part of that could be selling the Empower Network to some people. So for an additional $19.95 a month, so for me, it's not $25 a month, it's less than $50 a month, I get my blogging platform and I get my business. So I get a blogging business that I can sell this Empower Network thing to you or to somebody else if you need it as well, just like I did, so I can sell that to you. So you might be asking, what does a blog look like, right? You might wonder what a blog looks like. Well, the next page, I'm going to show you what my blog looks like. My blog is called Ninja-Mobile-Money. I might change the name of that soon. I might change it to my name. But for the blogging platform, I wanted it to be separate from my coaching business because you do not have to buy Empower Network as part of my coaching program, but you might want to. So that's why I called it something different than Leslie Lane Peabody. Leslie Lane Peabody Ninjas in High Heels, that's my coaching business. But Ninja Mobile Money, that's how you do your blogging, and that's my blogging business. So you can see on this slide now that it's advanced, this is what my blog looks like. You get to colorize your blog. You get to see how it doesn't say anything about Empower Network there. It says Ninja Mobile Money. That's the domain name that I bought for me. That is me. You can see that my picture is up there, and Empower is great. If you want to sell Empower, they have all these things that have call to actions for you. So to sell Empower, it comes really right out of the box, right? If this was my coaching business, I would have my own pictures up there, right? And then you see all the blogs. If you look on the right-hand side, you're going to see the listing of the different types of blogging categories. So one of the blogging categories I have there is 90-day challenge, right? I have facing your fears. I have Empower Network. Whatever your business functions are, whatever your business does, you, along that right-hand side, can set up whatever blogs that you want on that right-hand side. So it's very, very user-friendly. And that's what I said, when it's point and click, you really need to know that it truly is point and click. I was able to do it very, very quickly, able to figure that out very quickly on how to do that without any training whatsoever. And I set up all those additional blogs. And then, of course, on the left-hand side, you can see that's a video. That's my naked video, or naked, as one of my friends said, my naked video. You set up your blog, and it just automatically uploads right there. It's so easy. You take your video with a phone, so I was in the bathtub with my phone, and I took the video of myself, and then I posted it, I uploaded it, and that, I waited till I got out of the bath to upload it, but that's how fast it was. So how do I do this? If you go to empowernetwork.com, Empower Network is one word, this is where you'll see what it looks like to set up a blog on the computer. Okay, it's a little bit different on the phone. I didn't show you how to do that on the phone, but I showed you how to do it from the computer. What I do with my videos is I upload my videos, and then I go here to the computer because I like typing on the computer better, but you can do it 100% from your phone, and that's where that name Ninja Mobile Money came from, because I think being able to do it from wherever I am is huge. So if you look at those little blue boxes kind of in the middle of the page, you're going to see the different ways that you can blog. The first one is a text. It kind of looks like an old fountain pen. The second one must be a picture. No, the second one is audio. The third one is the picture, and the fourth one is video. So those are all the different ways that you can blog. And then on the left-hand side, if you see kind of where that blue and red box on the left-hand side, that's where all the training is for all the different programs that you can buy. So Empower Network has a hugely low cost of entry, the $25 a month and the $19.95 if you want to grow it as your business. They also have places where you can grow. They have additional training. They have things called the inner circle and all that other kind of stuff. I'll tell you about that later if you want, because today the point is blogging. But you're not stuck at the kindergarten level. When you buy into Empower Network, you get so many additional resources. It is unbelievable. And you don't have to stay at the kindergarten level. You start at the kindergarten level, which is with the $25 blogging platform, but then they have courses to teach you how to blog. They have Inner Circle, which is a mindset that you listen to every day. They have how to make $30,000 in 90 days. They have videos to help you. And when I told you that this training was awesome, phenomenal, that's what I'm talking about, is what you see there along the left-hand side. I am all in. I bought every product they have after I spent a little time with them because I recognized how fabulous and wonderful that is. And I, my friends, am on a fast track to grow my business and to get my book out very, very quickly. So I needed to do the fast track. You may be there as well. Or you might be on a little bit slower track and you want to do the blog for a while. Any direction you want to go works. Totally fine. And it is so cool because you can pick from the smorgasbord whatever works for you. So I've told you a little bit about it. What do you do if you want to learn more? Well, what you do if you want to learn more is you go and join me on my webpage, LeslieLanePeabody.com, LeslieLan as in Nancy E, Peabody, Peabody.com. That is my webpage. And on my webpage, you'll learn about my coaching programs, you'll learn about my blog, you'll learn about my book, all of those things. You'll learn about those things. So I'll send anybody who attended here the link to my blog, or you can type in the link to my webpage right there. And you're going to be able to see that my webpage is static except for my blog page. When you link to my blog page, you won't really know it because it still has the same color schema. It's still purple. But my webpage is purple, and so is my blog. So it has that theme going through it. So you don't really know that you've gone to a different program. You just think that you've gone to my blog page on my web page, but no, it's hosted by Empower Network. It's awesome. If you like what you've learned here, if you like being able to hang out on a Saturday morning and learn a little bit more, then join me on my email list for Saturday Sanctuary. And every Saturday I will be giving you, in this calm, rational manner, even though we're doing it on Google Hangouts, I don't expect you to shower or do your hair or makeup. I'm not, so we're going to do presentations like this. You know, on Wednesdays I'm going to do Wealth Wednesdays as well. We'll probably show each other. Our faces will be on, we'll be visual. Saturday Sanctuary is more calm and laid back. You're not going to have to get dressed in order to participate in Saturday Sanctuary. It's for the more laid-back crowd. So join my mailing list. Now, if you thought that Empower Network might work for you, if you think this blogging tool might just take your business to the next level like I know it's taking mine, then start blogging with me in the Empower Network. Do it today. I will send you the link on how to sign up in just a second. But what I want to offer you, and this is only for those who join today, choose to join Empower Network today, join my team on Empower Network today, I'm going to give you free my $90 for 90 days, my new coaching program, $90 for 90 days. And that coaching program is going to get you from zero to blogging daily in 90 days. It's going to give you all the pieces that I have been figuring out on my own that I will give you. Why is it $90? Because when you're just starting out, you don't have tons of money to share. You need the basics and you need to get there quickly. It's going to show you little things like, here's some tips and tricks. How do you set up your Aweber account so that when you have people, when you have traffic to your webpage, how are you going to set up that Aweber account to link with Empower Network? It'll show you simple little things like, how do you get the first name only? You know, when you see those Facebook, this was a challenge for me at first. When you see those Facebook things and you put in somebody's name, like my name is Leslie Lane Peabody, but I only want Leslie to show up there highlighted to link to me, how do you do that? How do you get there? I'll show you that. I'll also show you how to do your first video blog, how do you do your first written blog, how to do your first audio blog. These will be in very small, bite-sized pieces that every single day you can take one little step. And my goal is to have most days of 10 minutes, okay? So most days you can build your business with a 10-minute video that has action. So for less than an hour a day, so if I give you a 10-minute video, my guess is you'll take 10 to 30 minutes additional to do what I've taught you in the video, right? So generally, in less than an hour a day, you can build your business in 90 days. $90 for 90 days. But if you join me in Empower Network for that $25 a month, I will throw in that $90 for 90-day program for free. But sign up today. This is a very limited time offer. So if you're on YouTube and you watch this, then you're going to be paying the $90. If you sign up today, today is November 23rd, if you sign up with me today on my Empower Network account, then I will give you for free that $90 for 90-day program. I will give you that so that you can start becoming more effective on Empower Network just like I am. Here is the key that you need to know. When you join Empower Network, there is not a long-term commitment. So just like that dog with a bone, if that dog wants to go somewhere else and he wants to go to the neighbors, that's okay. You can stop anytime you want. You won't. I guarantee you that once you get in there, you're not going to want to stop because it gives you so much value. But if you do, you stop, that's fine. Try it out. There's such a low cost of membership. So try out the blogging platform for $25, and to help you become more effective, I'm going to throw in my $90 for 90-day program. So how do you join Empower Network? I'm going to send you guys all these links, but here's how you join. You can go to my webpage on leslieLanePeabody.com, and I will have a mailing list that you can join, and it will send you the link. You can join me on Facebook, Leslie.Peabody. You can find me on Facebook. I will give you the link there. You can join my email list. I will send you to Empower Network there, or you can go straight to Empower. This is the easiest way, ninja-mobile-money. You go there and you join my Empower Network team today by midnight. November 23rd, you join that today, and I'll give you the 90 days for $90 program for free. So what does that mean to you? You're going to be spending $25 a month on the Empower Network, maybe up to $50 if you decide to do the affiliate program. And depending on your business plan, I'd highly recommend that. So you're going to be paying your $25 blogging fee for Empower Network, and you're going to get 90 days of training for free so that you can make that blogging platform work for you. And the cool thing is, you can blog anywhere about anything. So everything I do becomes part of my blog. I went to a meeting the other day. I'm going to write a blog about it. I started this new meetup group called Tacky Places Social Club. I'm going to blog about it because that's the cheese. That's the fun crap, right? So I'm going to blog about it. So everything you do can become a tax deduction. So I want to thank you for joining me here on Saturday Sanctuary. I know this took a little bit longer than an hour, and I apologize for that. However, we are done for the day. I will post this out to my YouTube site for everyone that registered for this class. I will send you this link, and you can, all of these links here, so that you can join me. And then I will reach out to you, and if you want to join me, join today. And if you don't join today, then feel free to join tomorrow, but then you'll be paying that $90 for 90 days to make this work effectively for you. So join today and get that 90 days for $90 for free. Join me in Empower Network and take your business to the next level. Dream massively. Live passionately. Build passively. Thanks so much. Leslie Lane Peabody.